Joseph, I want to say, kicks ass, and this is not an insult to anything he did, but it did feel like in his contract he was like, one button down, one button will be open, and show my chest the entire play. Because every time I looked at him, he just had like a nice deep V going on.
I mean, yeah.
You got it, flaunt it.
That's right. What do you want?
Yeah.
I'm happy for it. Like, give the viewers what they want.
You sound a little jealous.
That I could wear a deep V and pull it off like that? Hell yeah, Michael. Hell yeah, I wish I could pull a deep V off like him.
You're not incorrect, though. It was the entire musical, even when he was supposed to be a modern-day teacher. Just, maybe one button too many undone.
Look, the advice I give for our young queer listeners is when you look in the mirror and you're buttoning up your shirt, it's one button less than what you think. Mm-hmm. So unbutton one button. And Joseph followed my advice, so I'm very happy about that.
Michael did give me that advice before I went on the first date with my current girlfriend, and it worked, so... Yeah.
You're welcome.
Crushed it.
Thank you.
Welcome to My Brother, My Brother's Friend and Me, a podcast where two ex-evangelical siblings and an ex-Catholic non-sibling watch Christian media and either praise or condemn it. I'm Aaron.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Michael.
And this week, we take another dip into the Andrew Lloyd Webber well with Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I'm sorry, I believe you mean Hamilton, because that's what we just watched. The amazing Broadway smash hit.
I mean, it was pretty close to Hamilton, I think.
It was.
Before we scheme about how to murder our least favorite sibling, be sure to like and comment on this video, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on Twitter at MBMBFandMe. And with us to dissect this kaleidoscope disaster of a musical is my beloved wife and former musical castmate, Sierra.
Hello. That's me.
Sierra! I'm so
Hi,
happy
Sierra.
to have you.
I am scared to be here.
We don't bite.
Please
Well, at least
still
not
listen to the podcast. Do you guys introduce each other as former theater mate?
Depends on how obnoxious we want to be at that particular dinner party, I guess.
At this point, I just want to be at a dinner party.
Oh, God, that's fair. Disclaimer, before we go further, we're going to be discussing the 2011 version of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat that Sierra and I were in high school in Peoria, Illinois. So there's going to be some commentary that is wholly inaccessible to the listening audience. Sorry, it's our Christmas special. We can do whatever we want.
There is also the Donny Osmond version of Joseph if you're just really excited to see the show in general after the discussion today.
If you just need a watch along, you can do that. But also stay tuned to our Twitter page because I am going to collaborate a little with Sierra to get some hot picks.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am positive.
I don't love that.
I do feel that Jesus has taken the wheel on this one, Aaron, and once Michael has teamed up with Sierra, and that is, I don't know if either of us could break through that wall.
Yeah, that's too much power. I don't think I'm gonna make it out of this one unscathed. Oh.
I just have to say, I have to say this now. This movie is like fucking Return of the King. It ends 18 different times.
Yes.
My favorite ending is when Sam says goodbye to Frodo. It was heartwarming, and I was not expecting it in a musical, but, I think that you guys did a pretty good job.
This musical had a lot of unexpected moments, like Pharaoh Elvis, that was a cute little unexpected moment.
Or Aaron in every amazing hat.
Yeah, I did get to wear a lot of fun hats in that show.
Yeah.
So do we want to just, go through the numbers, or just, have a reaction to what we just watched?
I think both.
Yes.
I will forever improv yes and you. I think we do both. I think we go through the numbers and we react to them.
Okay. I guess I'll pull up the numbers and we'll start from there.
We'll start, as always, from number 4.
I mean, the musical we just watched opens with, this weird classroom scene. In the version that we watched, there was one, teacher's assistant along with the, little kids, which I think is very funny. But, Joseph is, this teacher, and he's, reminiscing about his past 3,000 years ago. And that's just sort of how we get this introduction to to this character and our narrator.
That confused me so much when I was like, what is this now? Why are we just in a classroom?
I actually love the trope, and this is very common in musicals, where the frame narrative doesn't have like a clean frame at the end. Like it's a half frame narrative.
No musical knows how to end. They just don't. Musicals do very few things good, and ending is one of the bad things they do.
Disagree.
Yeah,
I mean, you're wrong.
You're
but...
deeply outnumbered on this one, even more so
Yeah.
than normal.
I wish anyone I liked didn't like musicals so I could get them on here. But everyone who doesn't like musicals is terrible, and me, who's a delight.
Like, this musical isn't particularly good. It's just a lot of fun, I think.
It leaned into the camp in a way that I really enjoyed.
Well, that's literally in my notes. Like, okay, we'll get to what I called camp. I cannot spoil it for any of you.
Yeah. So after this singing introduction, we go into Joseph. After he sings about any dream will do, we get Jacob and Sons, which is basically the introduction to the story of Joseph, right? We get Joseph, who, is one of Joseph, Jacob, the famous father of Israel, and his 12 sons, which eventually become the 12 tribes of Israel. And we get our introductions, and in the version we watched, it was just a bunch of various ages and sizes of men jumping around in very multicolored overalls, and it was a good time.
And one of them was Aaron.
One of them was me. I was Judah, which I feel like is significant in the Bible, right? The nation of Judah becomes important because they separate from Israel at one point, and right? Isn't that a thing?
It was the surviving state, the Jewish state for a long time.
Yeah.
I believe it was the southern state.
Yes, it was the southern
survived.
one, and then they have to be reunited by, is it David or Jesus? One of them does some reuniting,
The Romans.
Almost.
I mean, that's the real answer. I'm just talking about prophecy, but...
The Romans did it. It was fine, and nothing bad ever happened after the
tell that to
Romans.
Masada.
Can I just say that I used to love the story of Joseph, but the older I get, the more I realize that it's just a daddy's boy who's very mean to his brothers.
Yeah, no, I'm unsurprisingly, I was also in a different version of Joseph than this one, so I did this musical twice in the same year, so I was never Joseph in it, I was always a brother, so I'm extremely anti-Joseph, and this musical really doubles down on Joseph being a huge piece of shit, because he's just like, here's the thing, I'm great, Dad loves me, my dad even says in front of our faces, that my mom was his favorite wife, and so I like to play football with my son in front of all my other sons. I give him this sick coat, and because of that, I'm going to talk to everyone about how great my dreams are, because I have some real sick dreams, and you should hear about them.
And they all involve you guys worshiping me, and also I'm going to say that I'm a work of art.
I did love that, Joseph is singing this song and playing football with his dad, and there are enough kids for an actual football team, so they could just all play together.
Michael, how many people are on this one side of a football team?
That's homophobic. Get out of here.
Does anybody actually know that on this podcast?
11.
Okay, thank you, Josh. You're the new straight person. Sorry.
Yeah. We've had a.
We are in musicals. Michael doesn't know the answer, so sorry about your
bisexuality.
bisexuality. It's canceled.
My dad saw Michael come out and went, the other one will be good at sports, and boy did he try. He tried until middle school and then went, you know what, have fun in chess club.
Yeah, I will also say, I mean, not that I've read the Bible, but I assume much like the Bible, this musical in no way passes the Bechdel test. The women aren't even named. There's the narrator, which is normally played by a woman, and then just wives. Just wives. 10 or so wives.
Yeah, there's Potiphar's wife. That's technically a named character.
No.
Nope.
No.
Like Grendel's mother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, that's so right. And Unfortunately, that's a problem with the source material.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't think the entire Bible passes the Bechdel test.
I don't think a single chapter does.
The Book of Ruth.
I was gonna
is
say our
big
Ruth
time.
expert knows. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the book that definitely passes it because they almost don't talk about men.
Michael is the Ruth head of the group.
You get those Ruth is the truth t-shirts, but it's not Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and every time you go to like progressive gatherings, everyone's like, oh.
I'm just really excited about the Book of Ruth, guys. It's the only Bible book in the Bible that doesn't mention God.
That's extremely on brand for you. Anyway, so Joseph talks about his great dreams and how all his brothers' penises are small. Not a joke. He talks about the sheaves of corn and like how his sheaf is super big and virile, and ours are not. And anyway, so we plan to kill him.
I like this is a we situation.
Yeah, no, I'm in character now as Judah. The brothers.
You guys can't see, but Aaron is actually tap dancing right now. It's really impressive.
I think you watched that recording. Y'all know I can't dance.
Yeah, Aaron and I are probably the worst two dancers in that show, which is fine.
It's fine.
We gave it spirit and heart, which is what mattered, but not we're not dancers.
Yeah, it's all right.
I am gonna dunk on my co-host a lot, but I do want to just say now that everyone on that stage, and including the tiny children, are much more talented than I am in singing and dancing. However, Aaron was in a beret.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all get multiple different Aaron Beret pictures on Twitter. Anyway, we try to kill our brother because he called our wieners little. And the songs are so bad. I mean, there's like 2 good songs in this musical. Tim Rice is an awful lyricist. Always, I mean, he wrote this. To be fair, he wrote this when he was 20. So like, I get why it's not very good, I guess. But he doesn't get better, to be fair. So,
as someone who's 20 a year ago, nothing I made was good. So I'm so glad that there isn't a podcast somewhere talking about one of the essays I wrote.
About your OCs, yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of like music, like technically speaking, the harmonies in this musical are extremely simple. Like one of the most simple musicals I've ever heard. Which how old was Andrew Lloyd Webber when he wrote this?
17.
Yeah, and like I think there's only one song with 4-part harmony, maybe 2 with if you include like the finale piece. But compared to his other pieces, the music is so simple that it brings the mood down a lot. It makes it more boring, I think.
Wait, have we done 3 musicals now, and all of them are by this bad writer?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them are your fault. Actually,
Yeah.
all of them are your fault, except for this one.
Yeah.
You said the same
thing.
fact.
Oh, I thought we did.
twice.
I thought we did something else besides Cats and Jesus Christ. Okay, well that's good. Gosh, here's the thing. Like, I feel like Andrew. I mean, like they added the mega mix later on in like the '90s, so like he could have updated the music if he wanted to, but like
It's not Andrew's style.
it's not really his style. He's still milking it for everything he's worth. But like, one other thing is that like he originally wrote this in like the mid '60s, I want to say, like or late '60s, and you can tell.
Yeah.
As we'll get into. Anyway, we're trying to kill Joseph. We're so close to killing Joseph. The brothers convince Joseph that they want to hang out with him, and then they throw him in a pit. They take his coat. And then the stage musical, they're like, oh, and then some Ishmaelites came along. And, at this time period in the Bible, Muslims don't exist yet because Islam was founded in, like, the 7th century. So they're just Ishmaelites. But, like, in our version, the Ishmaelites were Harry Potter for some reason. This was done in 2011.
So I think that requires some background information. The line is, you hairy bunch of Ishmaelites. So hairy was the word that they were drawing on. And okay, so this musical, our home theater did every year around Christmas. And so to make it, different and interesting each year, they would do something a little bit different for that, like 30-second period. So this year they really drew on that Harry word, and some characters came out that were dressed up like Harry Potter characters. Why? No one knows. It makes no sense now.
So fucking bad.
I do love the idea that they're like, every year we're gonna really make it our own for 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
For 30 seconds, we're just gonna let our freak flag fly.
Yeah, because they were so restrained before.
Oh yeah, everything else was just very by the book.
Yeah, anyway, that's why Harry Potter showed up in this musical for 30 seconds. Anyway, we sell Joseph to Harry Potter, and then... So this is a weird, bad thing that the musical does, which is that we attack a passing goat, and then, like, in the play, like, there's limbs flying everywhere, and it's very funny and also kind of gory. And then we realize that we have to tell our dad that Joseph's dead, and I feel like the continuity of that is messed up. Like, why did we attack the goat before we needed to create, like, a bloody coat? Like... Did that not occur to us that we needed to create a bloody coat before that? Did we just like maul a goat because we were so psyched that our brothers sold into slavery?
You guys were just so pumped on testosterone and adrenaline that you were like, I'm gonna fucking kill a goat. It was, you know what, Aaron? It was actually very Mother style. So maybe we'll put a pin in that and watch that film
I do not want to watch Mother.
Your guys' tiny corns were so filled with war horniness that you just had to kill a goat. And we've all been there.
I mean, that was the impression that I had. I did not get the impression there was any planning going on whatsoever.
That's fair.
Just goat murdering.
And then if the Harry Potter stuff didn't like tip you off that this musical is gonna be fucking weird, the next song that happens is One More Angel in Heaven. And One More Angel in Heaven is a sad cowboy song.
It's written by Orville Peck, and Sandy Cheeks, I believe, also helped a little bit with writing it with I Want to Go Home. It is beautiful. Everyone is donning cowboy hats. I just had to interrupt Aaron because this is the greatest song I've ever heard. And they sing a lonesome tune on the prairie about how their brother died, while their dad just stands around like the John Travolta meme, where he just like kind of looks confused with his hands up, just left and right, like, what? I hope that's John Travolta.
No, I think
Yeah, it is unfortunately accurate. The person that played Jacob in this musical was not the most talented singer in the cast, let's say that. So there's a lot of him standing around doing that pose.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Gosh. I'm trying to think what happens next.
Is this
tap
when,
dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
This is the tap dancing interlude.
So, one thing to know about this musical is that the whole cast is on the stage pretty much the entire time. So you have to be really careful with costume changes. So to go from this scene, there has to be some kind of interlude to let the whole cast change. So for some reason, our theater decided to bring a tap dancing troupe on stage, and they literally just do like a 5-minute tap dancing routine in the middle of the musical for no reason.
With no context, no story. They're dressed differently than everyone. It's so abrupt. I was like, oh, did we accidentally like record over a different musical?
No, there's no transition. There's no introduction. There's nothing. It's just, oh yeah, dang, Joseph
They
is
look
dead.
like... No, Michael's right. They look like fucking the people from Chicago rolled in. They're like, oh shit, I thought we were playing tonight. We had the theater booked. Well, we're gonna do it anyway. And they're fucking sequin vests.
It felt like a Parks and Rec episode where, in order to get the stage, the director was like, but my wife's troupe gets to tap dance in the middle. And they're like, but it's nowhere in the play. And he was like, I don't care. And they're like, all right, the 5 minutes in the middle.
I love this voice work that you're giving us this episode. Like, we're getting Southern, we're getting pirate, we're getting it all.
Oh, we'll see what kind of voices Josh feels comfortable with doing at the end.
Oh, the French.
Oh, that's not the one I'm talking about, but we'll get there.
Nope, that's not the one I'm thinking about
So,
either.
cut to Potiphar. They even shout out the chapter. in Genesis chapter 39, where Joseph is Potiphar's wife comes on to Joseph and then frames him for, I guess, trying to seduce her, and then Joseph gets thrown in jail. I don't know. Do you have any?
Where it confirms he's a narc in jail.
Oh yeah, no. He's like, yeah, no, I love the police. Blue lives matter.
Oh god.
Joseph 100% one of the colors on his coat is blue, and he explains that it's the thin blue line.
Yeah.
Why this is such a right-wing wet dream like divinely picked by God but picked himself up by his bootstraps to help an authoritarian regime. Like, it's so fucking weird that, like, it's such a weird story that we all, like, just gloss over how just an authoritarian, like, yeah, the administration's good, go Pharaoh, woo!
Yeah, it's...
But we do get a starring moment while Joseph is in jail. There's the chef and the butler come in, and honestly, I don't know who played him. But the butler did such a good job.
We'll wait for the butler, because the best song of the musical is before that, which is "Close Every Door." If you know anything about Joseph, you know about Donny Osmond singing "Close Every Door," because it is genuinely a very beautiful song, and it's like kind of moving, despite the fact that, like you said, Sierra, it's like kind of a simple melody, but like. I know that's the song that makes this musical worth it for me. I don't put it on Cats level because it has some decent singing and melody. And I mean, the two lead singers, Joseph and the narrator, at least in our version, were some very talented singers. And they really knocked it out of the park. So, if you at all care about musicals, just Google Donny Osmond, Close Every Door, because it's good shit. And I think that in this production, we did a pretty good job of it.
There's this...
It's definitely this... Oh, sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
There's this really stunning shot, and, not to brag on our musical that none of you can see, but there's this really beautiful shot where, for most of this song, Close Every Door, Joseph is singing behind these bars that come down to, like, show that he's in jail. And moving into the bridge, he, like, steps through the bars, and it, like, breaks this illusion because you can see that the bars are just fabric that are hanging down. And just, like, with the lighting and stuff, like, I'm a big theater person, so obviously I love this shit, but, like... it was really awesome to see that, and especially since I wasn't able to be on stage for that because that's Joseph's moment. It's just really cool to see. And I think I saw Josh like raise an eyebrow or something at that part too.
Yeah, when they lowered the bars, I was like, ooh, what are they gonna do with this? And then he walked through, and I'm like, because the bars are they're not real, because he can just walk through them, like if you just push through, you can push through it. Those bootstraps are right there if you just pull them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. But yes, after that, we get Go, 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 Joseph, completely undercutting the best song in the musical with arguably the worst song in the musical.
Yeah, we went from, like, this musical's version of Memories right into Rum Tug Tugger, which he did so good. Our boy did so good, y'all.
Yeah.
Our boy killed it.
This song, Go, 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 Joseph, is like this weird kaleidoscopic vomit that I think Aaron referenced at the beginning. But, like, it's so insane. It just completely shifts tonally. And it's only because it's the closing of Act 1. So it's, like, the whole cast, super high energy, crazy dancing. It's very weird and like off-putting, and I think that's one of the moments in the musical where it really shifts into being like campy and like fun versus something more meaningful.
I do want to hop off of something you said there, Sierra. This is the ending of Act 1, not at all the tap dancing.
No,
the tap dancing is like Act
1.5.
Honestly. It's this is really a 3-act play.
Well, and it's just such a dramatic shift in theme and tone and vibe where I was just, again, like, did we shift briefly into a different musical? But this, like the tap dancing and the bisexual lighting in the prison, is camp.
I think it should also be noted that like it's very clearly like a hippie homage, like all the like the kaleidoscope stuff and like the outfits that the background dancers wear are all very much like, you know, Summer of Love, like kind of themes, and like you can tell like basically the month all these lyrics were written, because like we're getting into some very like 60s, early 70s themes. Like when we get to the Pharaoh, like Elvis was probably alive. Like Elvis was definitely alive when this thing was on, and like the fact that they were just like, we're just gonna leave that in. Elvis is, people still know Elvis, you know, here in 2011.
It was an allegory.
It was an allegory for Elvis.
It was an allegory.
It wasn't an allegory. We went over this last week.
He was literally Elvis.
It's literally Elvis if he existed in 2011.
If Elvis existed in 2011 and was also Pharaoh. Now, Aaron, you're skipping over the most important part.
Okay, yeah, I was the butler that got let go. There's like a thing before the very bad song where he lets a butler go and then he has a baker murdered. I sound like...
Well, he doesn't murder the baker.
He could have lied to the baker and said, hey, yeah, your dream was great. But he's like, nah, you're gonna get fucking wrecked.
That's a good point.
It is very unfortunate that Aaron, my dear sweet husband, with the British singing voice, was featured in the worst song in the musical.
Yeah, I got shafted. I don't know why I sounded like that, but that's just how I sang when I was barely 17. So there we go.
This does mean that so far Aaron has worn a cowboy hat and a top hat.
Yes, I did
and
wear
his hat adventures are not
Oh,
over.
not by a long
no.
shot.
So that's hat count 2.
2 on the hat count, but same overalls, which I did love. I would wear those overalls.
So
That's true.
the costuming was unique for this. So
eclectic.
for the entire show, all of the brothers wear a single colored set of overalls with a white t-shirt under it, and then it has a letter with the beginning of their name on the front. There are a few songs where they wear another white t-shirt over that to cover up the letters when they're like not playing the brothers, but they are still wearing the overalls. That's important to note. The wives, on the other hand, for the entire show, wear a full single-colored, full-body spandex bodysuit, brightly colored. And this is where the quiz comes in. Do you know which color of spandex I was wearing? You brothers green.
Absolutely no earthly idea. I am watching this on what could only be described as 4 pixels.
I mean, yeah, we had to stream it through Skype to y'all.
That's fair.
I'm gonna guess orange.
Incorrect. Michael.
So I thought, and I'm so not confident about this. So to put some fun facts for you guys, our audience, Sierra once posted on social media, like, which one of these people do you think was me in the musical? And one of the people on this cast got it right.
It was not my
It
husband.
was not me. Despite the fact that I know Sierra pretty well, and I was also there when the picture was taken.
You guys are decent friends.
So I feel like I'm wrecking my own thing here if I get it wrong. So no pressure for
Let's
me.
hear it.
But I thought you were the one in like the like violety purple.
Nah, I know this one. You're in the green.
I mean, it is kind of cheating for you because I was pointing myself out every scene.
Yeah, constantly. Yeah.
But yes, I was wearing the emerald green bodysuit. But I would like to emphasize, we wore that bodysuit the whole time. It's just there was a different colored sparkly bag over the bodysuit. So when I say sparkly bag, I mean it. Like, for most of our costumes, we're just this sequin square that we wore most of the show and part of the time belted to make it look different. But it was still the same sparkly bag. So that's just kind of a little costuming insight into what we were watching over the past hour and a half.
So I did, seeing as we're on costuming corner right now, I did love that the narrator got to be in Princess Jasmine cosplay the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was really refreshing. She was literally in Princess Jasmine cosplay. There's no other way to describe it.
You had the blue crop top and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a tiger as well. You had to look close, but there was.
Okay, I think we finished Act 1. Now we move on to Act 2, which just really ramps up the bullshit. We get another scene reminding us that this is supposedly a retelling that's set in a classroom. Joseph is like, hey, I'm still a teacher. Let me tell you about my great time being also the Prince of Egypt or whatever. It's nothing. I mean, I think that song's actually pretty good, but the scene is nothing. So, God, we're not there yet. We have to do the Pharaoh shit.
Ain't nothing but a pharaoh.
I mean, literally, yeah. Like the okay, so Joseph gets let out of jail. Because the butler's like, hey, you know, I heard you've been having these bad dreams, Pharaoh. This guy I met in prison, he told me about my dreams. Do you want to talk to him? And Pharaoh was like, yeah. And you know, we were doing this live, so like you had just watched this. I would have run down so many more lines, but Tim Rice is just an atrocious lyricist. Like they're talking about how, you know, Pharaoh is this powerful man and, you know, he holds Egypt in the palm of his hand. But at one point he's like, in fact, you could say he was fairly right wing. Like, it's just nothing. It's nothing, Tim Rice.
This is also the same song where they rhyme, and I wrote this down because I wanted to be sure. I want to pull up the words because I want to.
Did you write down famine and planning? Because that's what I wrote down.
Oh my god, no, but they rhymed farmers and pajamas.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because he says, like,
the things, like,
you were in your pajamas will, like, affect the farmers.
Yeah, he's like, something for your farmers. The things you saw in your pajamas. Like, it's
just not even kinda.
It's very simple.
I took notes for this, and I don't remember anything you guys are saying. I think I just blacked out.
Yeah,
That's
Tim
fair.
Rice's writing tends to do that. Okay, so...
Well, it's surrounded by, like, the most... Imagine you asked a 17-year-old just off the street, do you know what Elvis sounds like? And they'd probably be like, yeah. And they're like, do it. Like, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And I'm not... That's what I would have done as well.
They're literally just like, hey, okay, so here's the king. He's Pharaoh, like, but he's the king. Get it? You know, like, Elvis is the king. Like, you modern viewers in 2011 would totally understand.
Listen. Like 90% of our audience at these shows was really old people that came every
They
year.
probably, saw Elvis in concert, so that's fair.
Yeah, they're probably like, Elvis, I like that young guy.
I mean, like, the Elvis shit is just so fucking wild because, like, he's like, da-da-da-da-da, like, he's just really doing some, like Josh said, like, stage 1 level Elvis impressions. And there's at one point, and I love the guy who played Elvis in our play. He's a great guy, but like there's this pause where like he's trying to draw attention because Joseph's like, hey, could you repeat that one more time? And he's just like, oh, like, because he has the women coming to attend to him, and he's like, oh yeah, love me tender. He just says that.
Okay, well, to be fair, this person wasn't cast because of their Elvis impersonation. This was a brother that was also playing Elvis. Like, the brothers are playing all of these additional roles. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he auditioned with his Elvis skills.
That's true.
It was just like, well, you can do the best Elvis impersonation out of these 6 men, so here you go.
The other 5 are like 12 years old, so...
He also said, and I'm quoting, about 98 billion times.
Yeah.
But that's not the actor's thing. That's just what Andrew Lloyd Webber thought was appropriate.
I'm just trying to paint a word picture for our viewers at home. I'm just letting Sierra know in the future that that's what happens.
Yeah, it's great. Anyway, Joseph interprets the dream accurately. He's like, okay, here's the thing. You're going to have 7 years of great harvests, and then you're going to have 7 years of bad harvests. So you should probably stock up grain from the first part to save it for the second part. And Pharaoh's like, damn, you're so right. You're going to become my regent. And Joseph is like, okay, that sounds fair.
And doomsday prepping was invented.
Yeah, I mean... You know, they said, what was the line? It was, the first ration in history was a success or some dumb shit.
That made me want to drive a hammer through my own face.
Yeah.
Great. Good one, Tim. But after that, when Joseph is successful and everyone's talking about how great his rationing program went, we cut to Canaan for those Canaan days. Does anyone want to explain what those Canaan days is?
I just want to. So, when you think of people, how do I want to put this? Like surrendering, or giving up, or like waving the white flag. What do you think? That's right, the French.
See, Josh, I hate that because that's the joke. The joke that you're making right now is the joke that also Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber is making, and it's very bad.
Yeah.
Yep. No, and it's a bad joke.
The joke is the French. Isn't it funny that they're French?
It is. You're right, though. It is so fucking Tory. He's such a fucking Tory.
Yeah.
It's such a lazy joke, too.
Okay, it was written. It was written in the '60s. That joke wasn't as overdone quite as much in the '60s. You know.
I thought for sure you were to say they hadn't invented humor yet.
Honestly.
I mean, more or less.
Oh man, who's on first? It's not. It's just I love it because it did make Aaron wear a beret, and that's
number 3.
That's worth it.
Yep. We did get hat number 3. They did sing the entire little number with a French accent, if we can call it that.
It's the French accent that people from Central Illinois think the French sound like.
It's, again, camp. We're in Camp City.
Yep.
It's as camp as
It was
possible.
5 Lumineers just going at it.
Wait, Lumineers or Lumieres?
Lumiere.
Okay,
Not
Lumineers is the
Pokemon.
band.
Oh my god.
Third time's the charm.
What's the Pokemon I'm thinking of?
Christ.
But also,
I mean-
those Canaan days was Aaron Solo the other time he was in Joseph.
It was?
You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah, so
We need that tape.
I might have to-
unfortunately I don't have that one. I don't have access
I
to
sure
that.
as fuck don't.
But so in that musical, it would have been Aaron doing that overly exaggerated impression of what Illinois people think French sounds like.
Wow,
And you'll go ahead and do that for us now,
I have
Aaron,
no
right?
memory of this.
Well, good thing we're going to
so
your
just-
parents' house.
Yeah.
Just how I blacked out one of the songs, Aaron blacked out singing one of the songs.
This is some Vietnam era, war flashback shit that I'm having. I mean, literally, there's flashing lights and explosions all the time, and I'm just oh my god, I remember.
Oh, also, I wanted to give a little tidbit to you. The director / choreographer of this show taught jazzercise classes as her job, and I think you can tell based on the choreography.
Yep.
And
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
this whole musical was a workout. I swear, I probably lost 10 pounds in this show, despite being in high school and probably not having weight to lose. But it was insane. It's not your average musical dancing. It was just no, this is an hour-and-a-half jazzercise class. You're gonna come out with moderately toned forearms or something.
It tones all of your muscles, but in an ornamental way. I'm so down.
And you also know how to jazzercise, and I can't imagine a party where that's not an amazing skill to bust out. This sounds like a joke. I'm being very serious.
No, I mean,
I wouldn't do any activity outside right now.
that's
That's
completely
true.
valid.
I mean, it was so much fun, but it's just it doesn't make for the most timeless musical.
No, it's extremely dated. Okay, after our fucking French extravaganza,
After the third battle of the Marne.
the brothers decide to go to Egypt because Joseph has been stockpiling all this grain. And they're like, all right, we're going to go ask the Egyptians for grain. They go there and they're like, oh, hey, look, it's Pharaoh's number 2. He's going to give us grain. Because it's been so long after they thought they murdered Joseph. They're like, oh, okay, hey, let's beg him. We don't know who this guy is, but he seems powerful. But Joseph recognizes them, and he's like, oh, how the turntables. And he decides to test their hearts to see, whether or not they're different people than, the time they tried to murder him. Maybe they've grown in the past 10 years. So what he does, he's like, oh, sure, You guys are begging and groveling. I love that shit. I'll give you some food.
But we know they're groveling because in the background of the song, you hear grovel, grovel, grovel. Just in case it was lost on you, just in case.
We are singing grovel in the background, and we being the
Yeah.
wives.
Yeah.
The unnamed wives.
Yeah, the unnamed wives are singing for the Joseph brothers, who are asking their brother that they don't know is their brother for help. And,
Can we just take
groveling
a second? The sentence, the unnamed wives were singing the word grovel, is the worst and skeeziest sentence that this podcast has ever said.
Yeah. I mean, we've covered Andrew Lloyd Webber before, so this shouldn't be a surprise.
Yep. The only woman he likes is Margaret Thatcher. It's not his fault.
The British Reagan.
Yep. Anyway, Joseph sneaks a gold cup into Benjamin's bag, and he's like, "Oh no, my gold cup is missing. Someone must have stolen it, and it must be y'all." He checks all their bags. Benjamin's like, "Oh no, I accidentally stole this cup. Shit." And he's like, "Well, I guess you're going in jail forever, even though you're 14 years old." And
Women guards arrest him.
yeah, basically. All the brothers were on stage, so they had to use the women guards.
Hashtag feminism.
And then we get to the actual worst song in the musical, the Benjamin Calypso.
What the fuck?
What to say?
Yeah, what the fuck is a good thing to say?
What the actual fuck?
So, Benjamin Calypso is a joke about people who live in Jamaica. We all, well, I didn't have to sing a solo in this song, thankfully, but the people who do adopt Jamaican / Rastafarian accents and do, talk about how much they love bananas and coconuts and the sun and the sand and the beach, and it's extremely racist.
Notice how I'm not doing this accent. Notice, audience.
I didn't know that we were going to get a cringier song than anything in Cats. And we did.
Mm-hmm.
We did.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
At least Cats doesn't... Let me rethink. Thinking. At least Cats doesn't touch on any racial lines of what is chill to do. This made me feel so...
Yeah.
Because you can go beachy. If I was... Oh, God. I don't want to think about if I'm Andrew Lloyd Webber. But if I'm Mr. Angie, I would have gone Jimmy Buffett vibes. And I don't think Jimmy Buffett was making music at the time, but I would have saw into the future. And I would have gone Jimmy Buffett vibes.
I love that, of all the things you would see in the future, it's Jimmy Buffett's work.
I feel like it would help the most.
So our theater still does this musical every winter, and I haven't seen it since being in it. I really hope they have also changed that vibe with that song, but I can't promise that they did.
I hope they have, and you know what? My headcanon is going to be they have.
That would be such a smart decision to make, and that's such an easy move. People love Jimmy Buffett. Hawaiian shirts is
absolutely
great, making an island thing. We've come a long way since 2011.
Sure have.
In my head canon, because a lot of things have only gotten worse. The entire song is done in that accent, except for that one. The entire musical is done in that accent, except for that one song.
No,
No.
we can't.
I refuse.
Musical theater is already inherently racist enough. We don't need any more. Okay.
But we're nearing the end here. Things start to get
The first
resolved.
end.
We're nearing
the
ending
false
number 1.
ending.
This is when Joseph drops the ring, but says he can't. And then I'm trying to think of any name of any other character. The dude's wife jumps on him and bites off his finger and falls into the ring and ends Sauron.
Okay.
It wasn't funny, but I was committed.
I mean, I have...
You certainly followed through.
You did finish the thought, and that's... I applaud you for that.
Listen, making a joke is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Okay, I was just gonna say, much like Clark Kent, taking off his glasses and turning into Superman, Joseph takes off his Egyptian headdress and turns into Joseph. And the brothers are like, oh, yeah, the guy we tried to kill once. Guess he's alive.
Whoops.
We're so happy that you're here now and didn't have us executed. That was cool of you. Sorry about the slavery bit.
Isn't it nuts that their first reaction is woo?
Yeah, no, I think the first reaction would be like, oh, fuck, he's gonna have us tortured to death.
Yep. I would be like, oh, cool, so I'm dead now. I'm gonna leave. I would be like, oh, we'll just call this good. Like, we're even now.
Oh, great. I'm gonna be one of the dudes in Prince of Egypt now. Fuck.
They're gonna have a little me on there on the little crocodile mural. There's just gonna be Aaron with his orange jumpsuit and big letter J falling into the crocodile's jaw.
If you look closely, you actually do see a Frenchman falling in the background. You know he's French because he's grabbing onto a baguette.
Christ.
I have a French friend, and I really hope he doesn't listen to this.
Oh.
I hope he does, just so he can hear you rag on the French.
I'll just send him a message and be like, hey, bud, how's France? Don't listen to this.
It's not your fault, Josh. It's the musical. The musical is that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what Angie would say. This is not what I would say.
Oh, so you're play acting a character is what this is.
Yes. I am the spirit of Angie Lloyd Webber is coming into me, and this is what he has decided to say. Also, $600 is a lot.
Anyway, so sorry, I was just thinking about like what it would be like if I actually met Andrew Lloyd Webber in person. I'd probably just punch him in the face, and then be like, "That's for cats."
I would say, how does it feel to know that Thatcher's dead?
I would just have him try McDonald's Sprite. That would do the work for me.
I mean, he is British, so that's probably the best thing he'd ever taste in his life.
It's too much flavor.
It's so much flavor for them. Okay. Joseph is reunited with his father, Jacob. They're like, hey, remember how we almost we tried to murder your favorite son? Well, he's back and he's in Egypt and he wants you to move in with him. And that's great. And we get a nice scene. We get a reprise of Any Dream Will Do. We get a really nice, fun cast. All the cast comes on stage and they're like, thank you all for coming. They bow. Joseph shows off his flashy coat one more time. The kids come on. They say thanks.
Don't the tap dancers even show up?
The tap dancers show up. They're like, yeah, definitely. We gotta give them their shout outs.
Yeah, the curtain call, the final bows, yeah.
Yeah. But the curtain doesn't come down. It doesn't come down, Sierra. Why does it... wait, they're still going. Why are they still going? No!
There are
From the top.
20 more minutes left in this show.
Yep. It feels like 20 more minutes.
So
I had one of those moments where I looked down at like the little thing that showed how much time was left and was like, what the fuck are they gonna do? There's
it's like
20
when you're
minutes
watching
left.
A horror movie and you're like, oh, everything's wrapping up. This is great. Wait, I've only been in the theater for an hour and a half. This is a 2-hour movie.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah, so there is like basically a full reprise of the children's song, which you can't hear because none of them are mic'd. The narrator's song that I think it's Pharaoh's Story, and then Joseph has a mini reprise of Give Me My Colored Coat, and ending on a beautiful chord. Everything's gorgeous. Perfect time to end a musical. There's still 10 minutes left.
It's just a 10-minute dance sequence where we tell the whole story of the musical again, and
yes.
It's the hardest dance number in the whole thing just by sheer aerobic necessity.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so the final number is Mega Mix. It is a what's the word for mushing all the songs together?
Like a
prog rock.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
It's not a compilation, but that's what I want.
It's kind of like
it's a mashup of every single song in the musical again in order. But it's 10 minutes of just singing basically the chorus line from every single song, but it involves all of the actors just absolutely fucking bolting it backstage to like come in on the other side of the stage, come in from the back where the audience is, and like running through the aisles.
I want to point out, no one should ever have actors in the audience for any reason. I think that sucks when anybody does that, just because, one, it's corny. Two, at this point in the musical, we all smell like shit.
That's true. Very sweaty.
I'm sweaty as fuck. I'm 17, and I don't, and I haven't washed these fucking orange overalls in 2 days. You don't want me to be next to you in the aisles.
Yeah, the
So
spandex
you know what?
smelly.
This gave me like, if you've ever binged an old show and they have recap episodes in between seasons to like catch you up or like see where things are at. This gave me like, I'm binging on Netflix or Hulu and I got to the recap episode and I was like, I saw this 10 minutes ago. Come on.
It's filler, except at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
I was so.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It was so much fun. Like, it is batshit insane to be watching, but it was really fun to do it. Once I built up the endurance to be able to actually do all the dance moves and sing at the same time, because holy hell, it was a workout. But it was just so much fun. Like, I'll give it that. The show is fun, if nothing else.
I was so scared that in that number where they sang all the songs, they would sing that final song, which includes all of the songs, which would then have to include a final song, which would then have to include a final song.
Just like a Russian nesting doll.
It would getting faster and faster each
Once
and
you
every
watch
time.
Joseph, you can never stop watching Joseph, yeah.
At some point, they're just making noises. Like the Elvis guy just shows up for his lyric and just goes, oh, and then it goes to French and it's, oh, and then
I like that your French and Elvis kind of sound similar.
This is the Elvis that studied abroad in Paris for a bit.
The trick is you hit the H harder for the French one. For the Elvis is and for French it's
So they both just sound French.
Every time I'm doing the Italian meme in the air.
yeah, you're really mixing metaphors.
Italy.
Does our historian know where France is on a map?
Yeah, I totally do. It's by Georgia.
Okay. Immersively, the musical does end. And then, I get to go home and I guess, sleep and then wake up for cross-country practice the next day. But does anybody have any history notes? Because I do have, like, a couple things I did a little bit of research on for this show.
I'm so sorry. I heard the sentence, does anyone have any history notes? And I had a mini panic attack that I was back in college. Don't make me do the finals again, Aaron. Don't make me do it.
So I didn't have as many this time just because I ragged so hard on Andrew Lloyd Webber in our Cats episode especially. So I had very few. The story of Joseph is a pretty straightforward story.
It is like the shortest story possible in the Bible. So the fact that there's an hour-and-a-half musical out of it, I mean, I was surprised when I eventually read Genesis.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this show was only originally 35 minutes long. Like, when Weber and Rice were writing this originally, like, it was, I guess, like a sequel to, like, I think Tim Rice's dad, like, had them write these adaptations of the book of Daniel and Jonah. And, like, they're like, okay, let's do another one of those. It was their backer. Like, Tim Rice had this funder who wanted to do this weird Bible series. So, he picked out this 17-year-old Andrew Lloyd Webber, and he's like, hey, man, help me with this project I'm doing. And, that's where they get this original Joseph, and it progresses from there. We get this 35-minute musical, which, keeps building in popularity, but it doesn't really, like, get super popular until the 90s, which is when they added the Megamix. So, I guess maybe there's a correlation there.
Radical.
And then my last note is just like, apparently they're trying to make an animated version of this, so, if they give it the Prince of Egypt treatment, like, hey, maybe.
They won't.
What if they go, like, Japanese animated, though?
The anime Joseph.
They make an anime Joseph. No. Of all the Bible stories, that's the one I want as an anime the least.
That would be so cool, though.
Yeah, just
No,
Joseph,
Joseph,
goes into his second form. Yeah, like when he gets, I'm seeing it now, when he gets his coat.
He sees the brothers, and he just screams, goes, ah, and powers up.
Yeah, instead of the
30
Mega
minutes.
Mix, it's just a 10-minute power-up sequence at the end, and then there's just, like, a huge kaleidoscope explosion.
And then the credits roll, and it's like all of the characters standing on like a beach with very soft Japanese music.
Yeah, that's where they put the calypso.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Christ.
Make it animators, please. Netflix, I'll watch it, I promise.
All right. I think we've had enough time to talk about this. Do we have ratings?
I do, just like, before we get to our joke ratings, where is this on the Andrew Lloyd Webber plays that we have discussed? Because for me it goes Jesus Christ Superstar, this steep drop cats.
I think that's correct.
I think that's right, but I think the drop is less steep.
Yeah, because
me.
of reasons. Sierra, do you have opinions on which of those three is the best?
I mean, I have a soft spot for Joseph because of being in it. So I would say actually for me, Joseph and Cats would be pretty close, and then a moderate drop, and then Jesus Christ Superstar.
These are all, for me, and I'm sorry for everyone who is about to hear these words, on layers of bad for me, because I'm a bad person with bad tastes and stuff, and I understand
If
this.
I hadn't been in this musical, I wouldn't like it. Like, it's dumb. Like, I didn't grow up religious, so like the religious aspect of it just completely blank for me. So like, it's not a good musical, but it's just so much fun, and I have such fun memories of being in it that's really what that reading comes from. It's a terrible musical though. Don't watch it.
It's not good.
For me, this musical is like cotton candy. Like, it's light and airy and full of sugar and fun, but I don't want to have a whole meal of just cotton candy.
Yeah.
Michael did attempt to watch this musical and it disappeared, and he looked very sad.
I am a raccoon. That explains a lot.
Yeah. But I do have my rating. I'm gonna give it 1 Franco-Prussian War, because the French surrendered real quick.
I'm gonna give it the 8th Station of the Cross, Jesus Meets the Women of Jerusalem, because it really is just one man and a bunch of nameless women.
I am going to give a very bold rating, and that is 2 out of 4 co-stars, because 2 out of 4 of my current hosts were on it, and I want to give them all the credit in the world because they stole the show.
Thank you, Michael. Sierra, what is your rating?
I'm gonna give it a Simeon out of 12 Brothers, because that was my designated husband.
Oh man, how things have changed for you.
That's true.
Oh man.
Listen, so when
I'm
we
a
were
Simeon
in
in the sheets and a Judah in the streets.
when we were in this show, I was like, what, 14, 15?
So I just turned 17, so I think you were 15.
And so my designated husband of Simeon, he was probably like 25, so it was kind of gross, but like,
It was biblically accurate.
yeah, I mean, we hugged like once, and I stood by him like twice, and that was the extent of our marriage, but, symbolically, not great.
Who amongst us hasn't had a bad first marriage?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to get that out of your system, so this one could be good.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I mean,
Thank you so much for coming on this, Sierra.
Oh, of course. I wanted to watch this anyway. I was feeling nostalgic, so I'm glad I got to force Aaron to watch it with me as well. Because he definitely wouldn't have otherwise.
I probably would not have.
And you got to make content.
Yeah.
You're a
There we
content
go.
producer
We made
now.
content. That's the important thing. Speaking of content, this is wrapping up season 1 of My Brother, My Brother's Friend and Me. I think we're probably going to take a break for a little bit because of the holidays, and we'll see you in the new year with a whole new host of horrors to delight and entertain you. But as I wipe the tears from my eyes, remembering my time in Joseph, I'd just like to remind everyone that it is okay to cry because even Jesus wept. We'll see you all next time.